So our first example that we're going to do, excuse the shakiness of the video. Our first example that we're going to do is number 1. So our first step is to put shapes around the like terms. So we want to find our like terms. How do we know what's a like term? It has the same what? The same variable and exponent. So in number 1, just as we did in our homework, we want to put shapes around the like terms. So one that I see is the letter A, so our variable of A. I'm going to put a circle around A. Now what's a like term that matches up with A? If you said 3A, that is good, but we also want to make sure we include that plus sign, so it's actually plus 3A or positive 3A. Just as we did up here, when we wrote down each of our terms, we included the sign that was in front of it. We're doing that as well down here when we're combining our like terms, and you'll see why in a second. And lastly, we have a plus 2 and a minus 1. Are those like terms? Yes, they are. And the technical term for those two numbers is a constant, so a number on its own. So our two constants are a plus 2, so let's put a square around our plus 2, and we're going to use that same shape for minus 1 because they're like terms. Now, why did we just use 2 different shapes? Why didn't we just circle them all? The reason we didn't circle them all is because they all aren't like terms. A is a like term with plus 3A, and plus 2 is a like term with minus 1. So you make sure that you have a different shape for each type of term, okay? So step 1 was to put shapes around the like terms. Step 2 is to rewrite the expression. What I mean by rewrite the expression is we want to put all of our like terms next to each other. So we have an A, and what's the like term that matched up with A? We now have the same shape around it, so that helps you to kind of see it a little bit better. The like term was the plus 3A, so we put the plus 3A. You see why we have to include that sign that's in front? Because that's helping us to know how to combine these two terms. And it's also helping us to rewrite our expression. So we have that, so we can cross out A and we can cross out plus 3A, just so that we know we got it in our rewritten expression. And now we have a plus 2. And what's the like term that matched up with that? A minus 1. Okay? Now, do you think we're done? No, we're not done. If you remember, we have 3 steps. So our third step is to combine the like terms only. So we only can combine those terms that have the same shapes next to them. Let's cross out plus 2 and minus 1. Okay? So, how are we going to combine them? Have any thoughts on that? How do you think we're going to combine these terms? If you said you use the sign that's in front of it, absolutely. So we're going to do A plus 3A. Remember, if it's a letter or variable, by itself, it has that imaginary 1 in front because there's only one A. So how many times is 3 plus 1? How much, is 3 plus 1? 4. Don't forget your A. So it's 4 A's. Next, we have a plus sign, so we're going to bring that plus sign down. And can we combine 2 minus 1? We can, because they're just numbers. So we can do 2 minus 1. What's 2 minus 1? 1. Now, our third step said to combine the like terms only. Is 4a and plus 1 a like term? No, so we know we're done. So our answer is 4a plus 1. That's our simplified expression. Okay? Now, I want you to go ahead and start off on number 2. Start off by yourself so you guys can pause the video. And I want you to do step 1 of our 3 steps. So put the shapes around your like terms. Remember, you have to include the sign that's in front of it. So pause the video, and I want everyone to put shapes around their like terms for number 2.